Hi there, I'm Tara Kessner. Thank you for joining me today. Today's class is called Yoga Brain Games because we're going to work on that connection between the brain and the body, which is really important because it allows us to perform tasks that require coordination. It helps with our balance, and it gives us what's called body awareness in space, a concept called proprioception that's very important as we age or if you play sports. So, a couple things before we get started. Number one, you're going to need a block or something that can serve as a block, maybe a book or a really sturdy cardboard box. Number two, we're going to be touching our faces, so make sure that your hands are really clean. If you like this class, I would love it if you'd give it a thumbs up or maybe make a comment, or if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I would be eternally grateful. So, when you're ready, find a comfortable way to sit and close down your eyes. As you settle in here, let's take a nice slow breath in, stretching the spine up. And as we exhale, relax the shoulders. We're going to work with some breath technique called alternate nostril breathing. I promise you it is not as weird as it sounds. And take our left hand and using either our thumb and our index finger, or our thumb and our ring finger, we're going to gently place the thumb at the bridge of the nose, closing off the left nostril. Now we're going to inhale through the right nostril and pause. Using the ring finger or the index finger, we'll close off the right nostril and exhale through the left. Let's inhale through the left. Switching the hand, we'll exhale through the right. Inhaling through the right. Switch the hand and exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Switch and exhale through the right. Two more times, inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left, inhaling through the left, and exhaling through the right. And release, and let your breath go back to its normal pace. Alternate nostril breathing is great for connecting the left and right hemispheres of the brain. It's a good technique to use anytime you need to center yourself. When you're ready, go ahead and blink the eyes open, and we'll slide the left hand out to the side and sweep the right hand up into the air. Stretching up, feeling length coming into the ribs and the side body, and then looking down and begin reaching off on the diagonal. Feeling that stretch come into the upper back. With a nice slow inhale, we'll return to that first position and then begin to look up to the sky or the ceiling and let that upper hand drift back, finding a little sensation right here where the arm and the chest come together. And then we'll come back to center. We'll slide the other hand along the mat, sweeping opposite hand up, reaching up, lifting the rib up and off the hip, finding that sensation, and then turning the face down. Rolling that top shoulder forward, reaching off on the diagonal, feeling something in the lat muscle, that big wing-shaped muscle in the upper back. And then when you're ready, rolling back to that first position, looking up to the sky and letting the upper hand drift back, opening up in the chest. We'll bring it back to center, bring the hands on down, slide the hands behind us, and with an inhale, we'll reach up tall. Interlacing the fingers, flipping palms to the ceiling, and then bringing the hands to the back of the head, pressing the head into the hands, lifting the chin, and take a breath in. With an easy, slow exhale, we'll lean to the left, and then tick-tocking through the center, inhale to center, and exhale to the other side. Couple on each side at your own pace, nice and easy. Exhale as we lean, inhale to center, exhale to lean, inhale to center and pause. Take the hands out from behind the head, leaving the elbows at shoulder height. Look to your left, and then just begin to rotate the spine on its axis. Inhale back to center, and exhale to the other side. Inhale to center, exhale to turn, inhale to center, exhale to turn and pause. Let the hands drop down. One hand on the opposite knee, one hand steadies you behind your back. Sit up tall, a seated twist. One breath here. Big slow exhale. And then we'll take that seated twist on the other side. Looking off that back shoulder, sitting up tall. Big breath in. Slow breath out. Release and come back to center. Come on over to hands and knees, working our way in to a cat-cow, spreading the fingers really wide, knees under the hips, pressing into the tops of the feet. Begin to lower the belly down and lift the face. Breath in here. And on the exhale, moving the head last, let's tuck the tail and bring the chin towards the chest, rounding into cat stretch. And just for today, we'll move the head last as we work through this. So let's come back to cow, lifting the tail, dropping the belly, and then lifting the face. Inhale. And then exhale, tucking the tail, rounding the spine. Chin comes in last. Dropping the belly, lifting the face. Inhale. One more time, moving the head last, tucking the tail, rounding the spine, bringing the chin in. Let's come back to center and pause. Nice flat back. Look to your left and reach that left hand up in the air. Sweep it up there. Now squeeze that space between the shoulder blades together as you push the ground away. We'll hold for a slow 10 count, squeezing the rhomboids in between the shoulder blades. Draw a breath in. And with the exhale, thread the needle. Sweep it down and through, lowering maybe the head onto the right fist, or resting the head directly on the mat, stretching out that space that we just contracted, a little PNF stretching technique for the upper back. We'll take one more breath here. And we'll start to make our way back to all fours. Same thing, other side. Right hand sweeps up tall. Push the ground away with the left. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as if you're trying to hold something there. We'll hold as we inhale. And with the exhale, release and thread the needle. Sweep that arm through. Finding a comfortable place to rest the head. Finding that stretch in the upper back, in between the shoulder blades. One more breath here. And then we'll start to make our way up to all fours. Taking the knees a little wider, child's pose. Sinking the hips towards the heels, lowering down onto elbows. Rocking the hips from side to side if needed. Lowering the head, maybe supporting it with the hands, or maybe forehead comes right to the mat. We'll take a breath into those back ribs, find expansion, and then soften the belly and sink with the exhale. And from here, kneeling plank. Begin to make your way up to all fours. We'll have to bring the knees back in. Walk the hands forward a touch and bring the shoulders up and over. Option to keep the feet down, or maybe for today, we lift them up a little bit just for something different. And we're going to lower into a yogi push-up. So just a slow descent, keeping the elbows tight to the side, coming down just a little bit, and then straightening back out. Breath in here, and on the exhale, we lower. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to lower, going at any pace that you want to. Just continuing with these little yogi push-ups for about 15 more seconds. Just exhaling as we lower. Inhaling to straighten, exhaling to lower, inhale to straighten. One more time. Feel those triceps engage, warming them up, and then straighten it out. Let the feet drop if they are lifted. Let's kick the right foot off the mat. Straighten out that left leg. And begin to make our way to a modified side plank. First reaching back as if we're reaching for our foot, and then reaching up overhead. We'll continue circling the arm, bringing it back to the mat, coming back to our kneeling plank, and then a yogi push-up. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Kick that left foot off. Slide that right foot out. Reach towards the feet slow. Big circle of the shoulder here. Reaching up, 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 and then reaching over and back to the mat. Coming back to center and sit back in child's pose. We're going to do that sequence a few times. You're welcome to take full side plank if that's what you prefer. And you're welcome to take full plank with that push-up instead of kneeling. Let's give it a try with the breath. So we inhale, coming to kneeling plank, and we exhale as we lower. Inhale to come back up, kick that right foot back as we exhale, and on the inhale, modified side plank, sweep it up. Exhale, hand back to the ground. Inhale to kneeling plank. Exhale, yogi push-up. Inhaling back, exhaling, setting up for that side plank again on the right. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, bring that hand back down. Coming back to that kneeling plank and sink back to child's pose. One more time through. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, side plank, left hand high. Exhale to bring it back to center. Take a breath in, kneeling plank. Exhale, yogi push-up. Inhaling back up. Kick that foot off to the side. Straighten out that right leg, and with a big inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, complete the circle. Bring the hand back down to the ground. Let's sink it back to child's pose. And pause right here with the arms nice and long. And breathe. And one more breath. And we'll start to make our way back to all fours. And eventually to downward facing dog. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips. Dropping the head, finding those calf muscles. Working out the soles of the feet a little bit. Warming it up, waking it up. After a few pedals of the heels, we're going to shuffle the feet forward 2 steps. And we'll walk the hands back until our ribs perch on the tops of our thighs. We're in a ragdoll, hanging over the legs. Maybe swaying, or maybe being still. It's up to you. But as you're here, we're going to turn to the left. We're orienting ourselves towards the long edge of the mat. We're still in ragdoll, still swaying, just turn. Now from this ragdoll, let's take a halfway lift. Find the hamstrings for the first time. Begin to straighten out the legs, walking the hands up the fronts of the legs, maybe all the way up to the thighs for this first one. Gently pressing back. Careful not to hyperextend those knees. We don't want to lock those out. Nice flat back. Just feeling the backs of the legs find some length. And then bend the knees and slide back into that forward fold, dropping the head, hanging over, folding in half. Now from here, steadying ourselves with our hands, we'll tick-tock our feet out, wider than the hips. Fairly wide stance with the toes turned out. Hands come up onto the knees. Start to bring ourselves up to standing. I'm going to reach the arms up and overhead, 5-point star. Reaching out in all those directions. You know, the 5th point of the 5-point star is your head. Took me a really long time to figure that out. That's a little embarrassing. But anyways, from this 5-point star, let's bend the elbows, bring them in tight to the sides, and begin to sit down in this wide-legged squat. They're called moonflowers. On the inhale, we'll reach up, 5-point star. And on the exhale, we'll sink down in. One more time, inhale as we reach, and exhale, moonflower. And then we'll straighten out the legs and stretch the arms straight out from the shoulders. Soft bend in the knees as we sit down into that squat. Now we'll hinge forward at the waist. And as if we're scooping up something off the floor, a big pile of laundry. And then we'll sweep the arms up overhead. These are called sunflowers, making a giant circle as we hinge forward and come down. Let's add the breath, inhaling up and exhaling down. One more time, inhale up, sunflower, and exhale down. Let's begin to alternate. Inhale up to that 5-point star. Exhale into that moonflower. Inhaling up, exhaling into the sunflower. Inhale it up. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale up. Exhale, sunflower. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, moonflower. Inhale up. Exhale, hinge it forward and blow it out. Inhale it up one last time. Bringing the hands down onto the hips. Soft bend in the knees as we hinge forward slightly. Reaching fingertips to the ground. Letting the head drop. Swaying the hips from side to side. And start to work the feet back in. So they're about hip distance apart. Sit the hips down, let the ribs find the tops of the thighs again, and then we'll walk our hands up onto our knees. Coming into a assisted chair, with the hands on the knees, taking some of the weight out of it. Let's lift one heel and put it down and then lift the other. Maybe play around with lifting both heels, playing with the balance here. Sitting it back down. Maybe lifting it up and holding it briefly and then sitting it down. Couple more. When you're ready, begin to straighten out the legs. Come on up. Roll the shoulders back and down and make your way towards the top of your mat. With an inhale, we'll reach up for the sky, bending the knees and swan diving slowly. Lots of bend in the knees to protect the back. Dropping the head here in this forward fold. On the inhale, halfway lift, sliding the hands up the shins. On the exhale, back to that forward fold. Steadying ourselves with our fingertips, step the left foot way back and gently lower that back knee all the way to the mat. Shifting around to adjust the hip joints. And then staying here or reaching up into a crescent moon. Take a full breath. Blow it out. When you're ready, hands come back to the mat. Let's bring the right knee down to the mat to all fours. And then we'll come forward into that kneeling plank. We're ready to lower down when you're ready all the way to the mat. Stretching the legs out long, lifting the kneecaps. Begin to peel up into cobra pose. Take a breath. Engaging the glutes. Lowering down when you're ready. Pushing ourselves back to that kneeling plank, walking the knees forward. And we'll step the left foot forward, finding our way into that kneeling lunge again. Settling in here, if you want to, reach up overhead, crescent moon, full breath. And then bringing the hands on down, tucking the back toe, lifting the back knee, little bounce as we step to the top of the mat. When you're ready, inhale to rise up. Exhale as we sit back into chair. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Soft bend in the knees as we swan dive to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. This time the right foot's going to step way back, but we're not going to drop the knee. Steadying ourselves with our right hand, we look left. Option to bring left hand onto the knee or revolve the lunge, reaching for the ceiling. Full breath. When you exhale, bring that hand on down. We'll step it back to downward facing dog from here. On the inhale, we'll hinge forward into plank, kneeling or full plank on the toes, and then lower all the way down onto our bellies. Untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat, hover the knees. Slide the hands out beside the mat, so thumbs stay on the mat, level with the chest, and begin to peel up into a cobra pose. You might be able to come a little higher with the arms wider, but be mindful of the low back. When you're ready, lower down out of that cobra, hands back in, pushing ourselves back to kneeling plank or full plank, and then back to downward facing dog. Let's lift the right foot up behind us, give the ankle a little turn, and then step the right foot forward into that lunge. Revolve the lunge, left hand stays on the mat, look right. Option to put the hand on the knee or reach up. Breath in, breath out as the hand comes down. Stepping up to that forward fold. On the inhale, we rise up to standing. And on the exhale, we sit into chair. Inhale, bring it back up, mountain. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Left foot's going to step way back this time. And we're going to come to a high lunge. You can crawl up that front leg, or you can take the arms wide and reach up overhead as an option, or hands to the hips. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, hands come back down. Stepping back to downward facing dog, find your breath, and with the inhale, come to plank on the toes or knees. As you exhale, come all the way down or part way and pause. Inhale to cobra again, or upward facing dog. If you're an upward facing dog, engaging the glutes, reaching with the center of the chest. When you're ready, return to downward facing dog. Settling yourself here, let's lift up that left foot, turn the ankle, maybe lift it higher this time. And then swing the knee in, step the foot forward. Set your feet up for lunge. With a slow inhale, come up to a standing lunge, high lunge, reaching up overhead. And with the exhale, hands back to the ground. Stepping that back foot forward, forward fold, inhale to rise to mountain. Exhale to sit into chair. Last time through, yogi's choice, whatever version you want to do. Inhale, reach up to mountain. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Right foot steps back, any lunge you want, kneeling, revolved, or high. Blow it out as the hands come back to the mat. Stepping back to downward facing dog or all fours. And with the inhale, making our way to plank, kneeling or on the toes. Exhaling to lower. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Finding our way back to downward facing dog. When we get there, with an inhale, we lift that right foot up behind us. Swing the knee in, step the foot through, find your lunge. Inhale as the arms come up. Exhale, bringing hands back to mat. Stepping the back foot forward to forward fold. Inhale one more time, reach up tall. Exhale, sit into that chair. Holding this chair, let's bring our hands down and start to reach behind us, maybe even interlacing the fingers behind the back. Rocking in the feet, sitting a little lower, just seeing how that feels. Take a breath in here, opening up through the chest. And as we exhale, we'll release, bring fingertips back to the mat. Walking the feet back to downward facing dog and pausing in this pose to take a full breath, to really enjoy unloading the spine. Shake the head yes, shake the head no. Eventually bending the knees, bringing them down to the ground, and we'll come down onto our bellies. As you lower down, grab opposite elbows. Rest the head down on the forearms. Rock the hips to release any tension in the low back. And start to move the feet as wide as the mat and untuck the toes. We're going to move into Sphinx pose. And we're going to be really careful with the low back. Let's start by lifting our faces and looking up. And then begin to walk the elbows back. Pausing if you feel any pinching or any weird sensations in the low back. If the elbows are all the way underneath us, we can bring the hands out. I like to Press palms together. Some people prefer to press palms into the mat. And we'll stay here for 3 very slow breaths. With each inhale, fill the belly up. And with each exhale, release and sink into the mat. 2 more breaths like that. Big slow inhale. Blow it out. 1 more of those. Inhale. And exhale. When you finish that 3rd breath, let's lower down. Bring the hands down by the sides with the palms facing up. Turn the face to one side and just get a gentle little stretch in the neck. I'm going to move into locust. So we'll bring the feet in a little closer. They should be about hip distance apart. And we'll start by looking forward, resting chin on the mat. Now we'll begin to lift the hands. Just let them float off, maybe just an inch off the ground. Begin to roll the shoulders, the heads of the shoulders up off the ground, engaging, squeezing the shoulder blades together as we start to float the upper body off the mat, engaging the muscles from the collar of the shirt to the waistband of the pants. Maybe lifting the hands higher, getting a little more height. We'll take a full breath here. And with the exhale, we'll slow her down, turning the face to the other side. Maybe rocking the hips, letting the shoulders relax forward. And we'll do that 1 more time. This time we can add the lower body. Start by resting the chin on the mat, lifting the hands an inch off the mat. Palms are still facing up. Begin to roll the heads of the shoulders up and back as we come into that locust. Now option to let the feet just float up off the ground. Now we're engaged from the heel to the waistband of the pants, and from the waistband of the pants to the collar of the shirt. Maybe lift the hands a little higher. Full breath here. Inhale. And on the exhale, release and lower it down. Bring the hands back up, grabbing opposite elbows, resting the head and rocking the hips to release any tension in the low back. From here, we'll slowly and gently make our way into all fours. When we get there, gentle little cat-cow, just to balance out the spine, to counterbalance that back bend. And when the back feels good and ready to go, we'll tuck the toes, lift 1 knee at a time, and come to downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, we'll walk the feet up to the top. Bring the hands up onto the knees and slowly push ourselves up to standing. All right, from here we're going to reach up into mountain pose. Kind of find that foot lock. Hover the toes above. Lift the toes, hovering above the mat. And center yourselves. Mound of the big toe, mound of the little toe, and center of the heel, a little triangle there. And then let the toes come down. Lift the arches slightly to engage the lower leg. Take a breath in. Now as we exhale, begin to sit into that chair. Hands can come to prayer or reach out in front. And then with the inhale, back up to mountain. On the exhale, we'll sit into that chair. And inhale, back up to mountain. 1 last time, exhale into chair. And inhale to mountain. Now let's bend the knees, fold ourselves in half and airplane the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhale as we reach back up. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, back up. And exhale, airplane arms. Inhale as we reach up, we'll turn the palms out and bring the hands down and back as if you're squeezing a beach ball behind your back, lifting the center of the chest. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, beach ball. Inhale it up. Exhale, beach ball. Inhale as we reach the arms up. Make a soft fist. Bring the elbows in by the side and step the left foot back into a gentle lunge. We'll punch it back up, switch the feet, and come into that lunge on the right. Inhale up, exhale left, inhale up, exhale right, inhale up, exhale left, inhale up, exhale right. Inhale up and pause. We'll bring the elbows down to shoulder height. And on the inhale, we'll open. And on the exhale, we'll close. Like a peck fly. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. One more of those. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Let's put it all together. Inhale to mountain. Exhale to chair. Inhale to mountain. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, beach ball. Inhale, mountain. Left leg lunge. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, right leg lunge. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, elbows down. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. One more time. Inhale to mountain. Exhale to chair. Inhale to mountain. Exhale, airplane. Inhale to mountain. Exhale, beach ball. Inhale, mountain. Left leg lunge. Inhale, mountain. Right leg lunge. Inhale, mountain. Elbows down. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. Inhale to mountain. Exhale to chair and pause. We'll bring the hands down and back, lifting the heels and lowering, rocking in the feet. See if we can lift those heels and hold. And then slowly lower it back down. Let's make our way towards the top of the mat if we're not already there. Block is going to be out in the front on its highest setting like that. And we're going to take a big breath in as we reach up into mountain. Soft bend in the knees as we swan dive down. And from here, we'll step the left foot back into a lunge. Now let's revolve that lunge, just like that second set in the sun salutations. Left hand to the mat, right hand to the knee, option to reach for the ceiling. Take a full breath. And we'll bring that hand on down. Drop the head so we can see the back foot. Spin it flat to the mat. Warrior two. We're going to crawl up that front leg. And we're going to reach the arms out forward and back. Settling into our warrior two. We'll take a full breath here. Now we'll bend the right elbow to 90 degrees. Bring the forearm down to rest. Reaching up, finding some length, finding engagement in the side, and stretch on the upper side. And then we'll bring that left hand onto our hip. Let's reach the right hand out and find the block, steadying ourselves as we drag the back foot closer. Now let's play around with kicking up that back foot. Maybe get it to hip height. If it gets to hip height, we'll stay. If we've gotten here, then let's play around with lifting the left hand, see how that feels today. If all of that's going well, we can turn the face and look out to the side, balancing half moon, full breath here. Let's start to break this down. If the hand is lifted, it comes to the hip. We'll bend the front knee, lower the back foot. We're going to make our way to reverse warrior. Left palm reaches for the ceiling, looking up, out to the side, or down at the back foot. Full breath here. Let's bring that right hand down and we'll reorient ourselves towards the short edge of the mat, coming into a lunge. With the inhale, we'll reach the hands up, high lunge, and then begin to reach for the horizon, hinging forward at the waist. The right hand's going to come down onto the right hip. Left hand's going to find its way to that block. And we'll begin to put all the weight in the front foot. Maybe today we stay right here, or maybe we start lifting that back foot up. If we're able to lift the foot, let's put the hand on the low back and see if the hips are level. And if they are, begin to reach that right hand out from the shoulder. Revolved balancing moon. If the hand's extended out to the side, bring it back to the hip. We'll lower the back foot, spinning it flat, reverse triangle. Begin to straighten the front leg and reach that right hand up. That should feel good to get out of that hip joint. Full breath here. Bring the hands onto the hips. We'll pick up those front toes and pivot them towards the long edge of the mat, orienting ourselves to the side, turning the toes out slightly, soft bend in the knees as we hinge forward. Coming into Prasarita Padangusthasana, which is super fun to say. Or wide-legged forward straddle. You can walk the hands out and think downward facing dog in the arms, melting the ribs towards the thighs. And take a breath. And from here we'll walk the hands closer to the mat. Look over at those right toes, turn them out a little more and begin to bend that right knee. Side squat. Walking the hands over there. While you're here, grab the block. Bring it back to center. Take a breath. Feel that stretch coming up that straight leg. And then we'll walk it back to center. Bring those right toes more forward. Turn the left toes out. Side squat to the left. Let's take the block with us as we go and put it at the other end of the mat. It'll be there for balancing half moon. Finish your breath here and then begin to walk the hands around, coming into lunge as you're facing the back of the mat. Same sequence, other side, right hand on the mat, left hand reaches up, revolved lunge. Find a breath. And then bring it on down. Dropping your head so you can see your back foot, spin it flat to the mat. Warrior two, begin to stand up, extending the arms out long. Take a breath. Bending that front elbow to 90 degrees, side angle, resting the forearm down, reaching up, up, up. And then bring the hand onto the hip. Left hand finds its way to the block. And we'll begin to drag that back foot closer to the front. Lifting up that back foot, maybe just bouncing it off the mat a few times, or if you can get it up to hip height, then pause, great. If you're here and this is easy, then go ahead and reach for the ceiling with the right hand. If all that's going really well, look out to the side and take a breath. Slowly start to unpack. Bring the hand down to the hip, lower the back foot, and then reverse warrior. Reaching for the ceiling with the left hand. Looking up, out to the side or down at the back foot. And breathe. Bring that left hand onto the hip. And we'll lift up that back heel and pivot so we're facing the short edge of the mat. Reaching the arms up overhead, high lunge. Begin to hinge forward at the waist, reaching for the horizon. Left hand onto left hip. Right hand comes down and finds that block. Let's begin to lift the back foot. Seeing how that feels today. Checking in with the low back, taking the left hand to see if the hips are level, and if so, extending that left arm straight out from the shoulder. Maybe looking to the left. Bringing the hand back in if it's extended. Lowering the back foot. Reverse triangle is where we're heading. Straighten the front leg. Reach up high. And take a breath in. Let's bring the hand on down. We'll look down and lift up the left toes. Pivot to face the long edge of the mat. And then we'll melt forward and down. Now if you like that downward facing dog in the arms, do that again, or rock between the toes and the heels. Or maybe plant the left hand and sweep the right hand high. And we'll swap out the hands if you extended, reaching the left hand high. And then bring it on down. Looking back towards the original top of our mat, we'll pivot around, find our way back to that lunge, a little bounce in the back foot as we step to the top, forward fold. Big bend in the knees as we rise up. Reaching up tall and sitting into that chair. Let's pinch the knees together. We'll bring the hands back, and if we're able to, we'll interlace the fingers behind the back. Moving in to sparrow's pose by lifting the heels, pitching the chest slightly forward, reaching with the center of the chest, and begin to lift the knuckles to the ceiling, dipping forward like a little bird. And take a breath. Releasing whenever you're ready, fingertips to the mat, lowering the heels. We rise up tall, and we bring the hands on down. Moving into our balance pose, as if Most of this wasn't balanced the whole time. Today we're going to do stork pose. So you may want to use a wall or something to steady yourself. We'll start, if you're using a wall, left hand out to the wall. And we'll bring the right foot forward, bend the knee, reach down, and bring the foot up, allowing the knee to drop open. And then we'll reach the right hand up overhead. Now you can work the right hand up that wall and just keep the hand there, balancing. Or if you want more, you can begin to reach forward, starting to fold yourself in half, maybe coming all the way down to the ground. But you have to be mindful of your back and your hamstring and everything that your body is telling you. If you fold it all the way forward, begin to make your way back up to our starting position, reaching up, being aware of our body and what we need. And then bring it on down. If you're using the wall, go to the other side. Let's step into the right foot. We'll bend that left knee, bring the foot up, reach down with the right hand, grab the foot, holding onto it, letting the knee drop open. That's what makes it a little easier than standing figure four, because we don't have that external rotation, forward flexion. We just have external rotation. Reaching the left hand up, we're starting to walk it up a wall. And reach up tall, relax the shoulders, stay here, or begin to reach forward, folding at the waist, pausing anywhere. You're just playing around with this today. Maybe you can get fingertips all the way down to the ground. Maybe you can drop your head. If you made it down, you gotta make it back. Keep a soft bend in that knee so you're using the muscles of the standing leg. You're not just balancing on the bones and the joints. And bring it back up. And we'll release and let that go. Nice job. Step the feet wide. Turn the toes out and just gently sway from side to side. Hands on the thighs as we start to lower our backsides down. Maybe bring the elbows to rest on the thighs, getting a little lower. Maybe lifting the opposite toe as you lean away. Maybe bringing fingertips down and taking some gentle side squats, side to side. Whatever feels good on the hips. We'll pause in the center and we'll drop our heads, looking through our legs, soft bend in the knees. Just relaxing, hanging over the legs, swaying gently from side to side. We'll start to tick-tock the feet back in, and we'll make our way to downward facing dog, walking the feet back. Taking a second to notice how different this down dog feels than the first one. We might be a little more tired, but we might feel like it's a little easier, hopefully anyways. And when you're ready, lowering knees to mat, extending the legs out in front of us, gently shaking it out. Bring the right foot in, and we'll sit up tall. Might have to move the flesh around from underneath you. Gentle flex in that foot, and we'll reach up, and then just hinging forward slightly, reaching for the horizon, pause. Nothing moves but your hands. Just bring them down to the ground. Keeping them right here, sitting up tall, or walking the hands forward for a deeper stretch. Pausing here, sinking on your exhale. We'll begin to make our way up and out of that, walking the hands over towards the bent knee, looking around behind you. Breathe. There's a nice little breeze, and then release. Let's do that on the other side. Extend the right leg out long, bring the left foot in, wherever it's comfortable. Some people like to pull it in, some people just want it bent and off to the side. Flexing this foot and reaching up. Hinging forward at the waist, pausing, still looking to the horizon. You're not going to go very far, and then the hands will come down. You've got this beautiful alignment. Maintain that if you choose to deepen the stretch. Try to maintain that alignment, settling in, and we'll stay for the stretch. Sink on your exhale. Let's slowly start to bring that on up. Bring the soles of the feet together. Sit up tall and then lean forward in any way that feels good to you. If it feels good to let your knees come up and round your back, do that. If it feels good to do more of a bound angle with a flat back, then do that. And then start to sit up tall. We're going to come onto our back. So wherever your block has gotten to, get it somewhere near your dominant hand so you can lift it up and use it. And come onto your back. Now, as you come onto your back, hug the knees in and rock it out from side to side. And pick up that block and put it between your knees. Drop your arms out to the side and continue rocking the knees from side to side. That's going to engage the core. Now, if you've had enough today and you're ready for some relaxation, I'm going to offer you this option. You're going to put your feet on the mat. You're going to take the block and slide it under your sacrum there, which is above your tailbone, below your last lumbar vertebrae. You can stay here in a little supported bridge or lift the feet up in the air and stay here with modified legs up the wall. If you'd like a little more core work to finish this class off, then keep the block between the knees, lift the feet up a bit, and bring the hands behind the head, interlacing the fingers behind the head. Keeping the chin away from the chest, as if there's a grapefruit in between your chin and your chest. Begin to lift the upper body off the mat and slowly lower it back down. Lift it up and lower it down at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling on the exertion as we lift. We're just doing this for 30 seconds so you can do a lot of them if that's what you feel like you need to do. Or you can just focus on the quality of the movement. We'll do one more wherever you are. And then we'll pause. Rest the head back down. Take the hands down beside you, palms into the floor. Begin to lift the hips up off the mat, squeezing the lower abs, and then slowly lower them back down. Lifting and lowering. Inhale, lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Couple more. Let's say one more. Inhale as we lower. Exhale as we lift. And lower the hips back down. Hands come back behind the head. Elbows stay nice and wide as we lift the shoulders up off the mat. Shift your eyes to the left and begin to take your right elbow in the direction of your left knee. And then bring it back to the center without lowering the head. And then shift eyes to the right. Same thing. Bring it back to center. Inhale. Exhale on the twist. Inhale to center. Exhale on the twist. Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. One more on each side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Bring it back down. Lower the head back down. Keep the hands where they are. We're going to do lower and upper. So lift the hips, lift the shoulders, blow it out. Inhale, bring it all back down. Inhale, lift it all up. Exhale, lower it all down. Inhale, lift it all up. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift it up, pause. Exhale, lower it down. Whew. And then bring the hands out from behind the head, resting the head, bending the knees, feet to the mat. Remove the block from behind, from between your knees and set it off to the side. If you're resting with legs up in the air, go ahead and take that block out from under you. We'll all meet with feet on the mat, knees bent, and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Reaching the arms up and overhead. Bend in the elbows. Just finding some length in the rectus abdominis as we rock it out. And taking the arms straight out from the shoulders, we'll drop both knees to one side, spinal twist, look in the opposite direction of the knees, and take a breath. And we'll bring it back through center and to the other side, dropping the knees to the opposite side, looking away from the knees. And we'll slowly begin to make our way back to center for final relaxation. You can stay here with feet on the mat, lifting up the tailbone and readjusting yourself, or stretching the legs out long. Feet are wider than the hips, slapping out the legs. Then take a second to lift the chest and readjust your shoulder blades, rock your head, and find a comfortable place to rest the hands. Close the eyes and just scan from the heels to the head all of the places the body is in contact with the floor. And with each exhale, sink in to those points of contact. And just rest. And begin to deepen the breath. Pulling the air in, and when you exhale, an audible sigh, creating some vibration in the back of the throat. Let's do that again. Inhale. And exhale, sigh it out. Start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, open and close the hands, and rotate the wrists. Walking the feet back up onto the mat and swaying the knees gently from side to side. Sliding the right arm up and over your head. The next time the knees go right, roll onto the right side. And we'll take 3 slow breaths here. Nice and easy inhale. Slow, extended exhale. Another one of those. And just one more breath. And we'll begin to make our way back to a comfortable seated position. And get there, interlace the fingers together, flip the palms forward, drop the chin to the chest. Take a breath in as you round out the upper back. And on the exhale, release the hands. Find the ground behind you. Lean back, lift the center of the chest, look up. Take a breath in. Then on the exhale, release. One more breath to wake ourselves up. Inhale, sweep arms up high. Reaching up, pressing the palms, and blow it out as you bring the hands on down. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.